Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. This channel contains hundreds of different videos covering all manner of different patterns, techniques and styles of fly tying. There's something here to suit almost everybody, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let's get on with the show. Hi guys, so we're going to tie a pink and blue sort of one of these epoxy shrimp Gammarus flies. So I'm using a curved hook here. This is size 12 and I'm going to use white or clear gel spun. So I'm going to put on a lead underbody and I'm going to use lead wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take lead wire and just snap the end of it, and what that'll do is create a very light little taper just to the end of it. And I'm going to stop a couple of mil back from the eye, and I'm going to take this back till just before the bend and then cut it off, and then I'm going to take it back up the front. I'm going to snap this again and I'm going to start just behind the previous one, and this way what I'm trying to do is to build up a hump on this fly. Takes a little bit of practice just to keep it up on top. And when I get down here, I'm just going to take it over the back of the previous bit, and then the gel spun will allow me to cut through that. Again, depending on how pronounced you want this to be, you can keep adding to this. So I'm going to put a third one on. I'm going to go back here again and then just a mil or so behind the previous one and wrap that back. Take it down over the end of the previous one by a couple of mil and then cut it off. Take our thread. Where we got that? And just wrap up behind that to take the taper out of it, or the step out of it, shall we say. Even this up. So we have this hump on top of the fly, so I'm just going to super glue all of that and it'll set in position. So let's go to the back of our fly. So it's going to be pink, so I'm going to take some pink ostrich here. I'll take 2 strands of that. Snap it off. Tie the 2 strands in. Bind down the tag ends of it. And the sort of sectioning of this here, what we're going to do is we're going to use beading elastic. So for another version I did, I used a coloured one, but here I'm going to use a clear. So if we find it. This is probably about 1 mil or so thick. I'm going to take that, I'm going to start it up here on the side, and then I'm going to get a couple of turns and just tight to hold it, and then I'm going to stretch it as I wrap it back, and under tension it gets thinner, and that allows me then to tie it back down to meet the ostrich. So the body I'm going to make out of this Sci-Bi Fine Spectra Flash dubbing, and this one's violet. So we take the thread down the thing. You'll notice I turn the fly upside down quite a bit because I find it easier to wrap into the I don't know what you call it, curve, bowl, cup. Just going to put a little bit of wax onto our thread there. Add the Spectraflash dubbin and tease it out until we have maybe 10 centimeters or so of a length of a dubbin rope, and then start to twist that up. Once we get a couple of fibers caught, then that'll allow us to spin it up tighter. Again, flip the fly. I'm just going to wrap the body with this. And then if we run out, we just take another little bit. Join the two, tighten it up. And that takes the dubbin the whole way up to the head. So I'm going to flip the fly again, and then I'm going to tighten up my elastic and start to get it to bite into the dubbin. And then as you get more to the middle of the fly, you can let some of that tension off, and then the beading elastic will sort of thicken out again to its full thickness and give you more segmentation. And then as we come to the front, we'll start to tighten it up again. Digs in, accentuates the taper. Get a turn across it, stretch it, fold it back on itself and wrap over it. And then a half hitch just to stop everything unraveling, and trim that off. So what I'm going to do now is to wrap the ostrich. Take the two together, start to wrap them, and they should sort of settle in between the elastic wraps. Get to the front, tie across it, and flip the fly back up again. Fold it back on itself. And then we're going to trim off the ostrich. So that's essentially the most of the tie-in of the fly over. I'm just going to super glue a few centimeters of my tie-in thread and create the head with that glued thread. 1/2 hitch into it while it's still wet, and that'll hold it. So, fly tied, time to create the epoxy back on it. So I'm just going to wet my finger and thumb. Stroke everything down underneath, and then because we've used a dubbin, I'm just going to flash the back of it. But because you've wet the rest of it, it shouldn't set fire to it, shouldn't. And then we're going to take the epoxy, put a run across the back. Then I'm going to use a cocktail stick, and I'm just going to take a little bit of it, stroke it down the sides. I've done that all over. Then I'll take the torch and set that. Now what we want to do is build up back to it, so that's it sort of set in position. That'll hold everything down flat. So we run a bit of this over the back of it, and again we can just take a cocktail stick and even it out a little bit. There we go. And then I'm hanging the fly sort of upside down to cure it, because that will allow the epoxy to sort of settle. Let it settle and then quickly throw it up and hit it with the torch again. Okay, so that's the fly done. As I said, if you want it, you can build that up further. It just depends on your own preference. And then these little legs, as they dry out, can be teased out. And that is our pink and blue shrimp. So hopefully you liked what you've seen. If you did, give us a like, subscribe. Tell your friends, check out all the other videos on the channel. And until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.